Buddy JayC here, and welcome to another live stream, Sunday night live stream. And let's see who's in the house. Cobra Classified is in the house. I'm sure here to talk about some G.I. Joe Classified. I'm sporting my G.I. Joe shirt tonight. We've got Chris, Jerry, X is in the house. Evans is in the house. Lord Vengar, Joseph, Rainbow Rare, CJ Snake Eyes. So we can start off with G.I. Joe. Probably tonight's main focus is going to be Masters of the Universe, if you couldn't tell. So I've got, several things. So we've got new images, even more new images just today for Masterverse. And over in the review studio, I've got some Masters of the Universe Origins figure set up. So we'll take a look at Triclops here. It's one of the newer figures that I've gotten. Just 1 second. Sorry. So, and if you haven't been able to, if you haven't told, I've actually kind of made some changes here. I got everything kind of set up a little more organized, I think, as far as the review studio and just everything. So, sprucing things up a little bit. I was gonna try and add some new features, like having your guys' questions pop up on the screen and stuff, but I just didn't get time to figure out how to set all that stuff up in OBS. So that will be coming soon. For now, I'll just have to read your questions. So yeah, on the G.I. Joe front, so as I'm sure if you're into the classified line, you've heard or seen or what have you, that Major Blood has started to hit some Target stores this week. And, anytime I go on Facebook, I see somebody posting up a picture of their score. I did go, not specifically for Blood yesterday. I went to pick up something at Best Buy, and the Target was right next door, so I went in to see if by some remote chance that they had Major Blood, which of course they didn't. They didn't have anything new from, the last time I was in there a few days before that. So I tried putting the DPCI number into the little red box there in the store, but it didn't come up with anything, which I thought was kind of odd. I would think it would have been in the system by now. Of course, who knows? Maybe they turned it off so you can't actually look it up on their little red boxes. I don't know if they can do that or not. Um, Maybe I just plugged it in wrong. I don't think I did though, but it was weird. So I couldn't even tell if like it was in this, in the back. I don't think they were, but yeah, I wasn't able to actually tell. Let's see. Evan Liska, do you think NECA will ever release the massive Bruce Shark? I want it. Yeah, I think they will eventually. I think it'll be crowdsourced or sold directly, something along those lines. But yeah, I definitely think they've indicated they're working on it and everything. So I do think that will be coming sooner or later. I don't know if it'll be this year. It might get pushed off until next year, but I definitely think that will come. And of course, with NECA, as far as large items, also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle party van. That's something I definitely want to see. Eric says new setup is nice. Thanks, Eric. Disney Plus wave ship. Where did it ship from, Eric? That's been hitting Target stores the last couple of days as well. So people, I don't know if anybody on the East Coast has found that wave, but people out west, which is where these things always seem to show up first, have been finding the Disney Plus wave at their Target stores. Stickman didn't find blood, but he did find Zartan at Target the other day and was shocked. I mean, Targets have been getting some of those figures, and and to me, like a lot of people I think had already gotten Zartan because they ordered it online. So as Targets have started to get them in, and I think they've maybe gotten over a course of time have gotten a few different shipments of that weave. I haven't seen it in my store. I did see Roadblock a week or so ago um, on the shelf, but that was it. So I mean I have Zartan already, so I don't need him, but I have not seen Zartan at any of the big box retailers in my neck of the woods. I'm still waiting on Flint and Lady J from Big Bad Toy Store to ship out. What's do you think it would help any to not buy anything else when you get Target to check on new exclusive? I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean. Should you totally stop shopping at Target? No, that's probably a little drastic. As I've mentioned, if you caught last week's live stream, what I would suggest for people is if you can, don't buy general release action figures from Target or Walmart or the big box retailers. Go to the small guy, support the small guy. Um, show, try. I mean, there's no guarantee. I mean, the problem is that no matter how much I sit here and say this, it's or what have you, people are still going to go to Target and Walmart, and a lot of people that's going to be their first place they go to try and get this stuff. So it's kind of like ingrained with a lot of people just to go to these big box retailers, and of course the toy companies push that as well. Whether it's McFarlane Toys or NECA or Hasbro or what have you, they're usually, if they're not telling you to go to their, like if Hasbro's not telling you to go to Hasbro Pulse, and they're telling you to go to like Amazon or GameStop or what have you. So, um, but yes, I do think if people quit buying regular figures and would like support the small guy, it would help the small guy, and it would send a message with your wallet that we don't want to buy these things at Target and Walmart, and we're tired of dealing with them. But like I said, is that going to happen? Probably not. Same thing with the scalpers. I could sit here and tell you over and over again, quit supporting scalpers, quit buying from scalpers, and scalpers would go away. And if everybody did that, assuming everybody did that, then scalpers would go away because they wouldn't be able to buy the product and then resell it for three times the cost, two, three times the cost, and they couldn't make money. So that's why they scalp. They scalp to make money. So if they can't make money, they would stop. But as long as they're able to make money, they're going to keep doing it no matter what. So, but I can keep here. I can sit here every time I get on camera, and I have seems like I have been a lot recently, and say quit buying from scalpers, but yet I go on eBay and there's like 85 major bloods that have sold for $140, and it's just like, what are people thinking? But there you go. Jerry found Flint and Lady J during lunch break. Just got really lucky. Sweet. Yeah, I mean that's what it takes. It takes essentially luck. I mean, for most of us, it either takes luck or it takes like you going to the store daily. Like, we know Major Blood's starting to ship at stores. So if you want to go hit Target, your local Target every morning when it first opens, to see if it's come in off the truck, and then find a Target employee and pester them to go try and find it in the back and bring it out, or if you just happen to get there the moment that they're putting it out on shelves, though most cases they don't even make it out on shelves. But if you're willing to go through all that, do all that, then you probably will be able to find a Major Blood figure. I think that's just gotten to the point of ridiculous, so I'm not going to do that. And I probably won't get blood unless, I mean, a couple of folks have said if they find one, they would hook me up with one, at cost and shipping. And that's probably my best way of being able to get one, because I just don't have time to go to Target every morning until they show up around here. And it's like you at least used to have, like, you could look it up on, Pop Finder to get a general idea of when the figures were going to start hitting the area. But they've disabled that. BrickSeek and Pop Finder are no longer effective. So you can't do that anymore. So now you either have to call the store and sit on hold and pester somebody to look it up and hope that they are going to tell you the truth, or you can go drive into the store and have them look it up. But to me, that's just, it's like I said, it's just until they start making these more readily available, which they haven't. With the case of Major Blood, we know they're not. Target's right now only getting one case of 6. They may get more cases down the road, probably one at a time, but they're not getting these in any kind of large numbers that are going to be able to substantiate the demand. And I found this interesting. So yesterday, we made a post about it on TNI, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get more into He-Man stuff. But Pixel Dan did an interview with the guys at Mattel on the Masters of the Universe brand yesterday. And one of the questions he was asking about the Rise of Evil 2-pack, and was it going to become more readily available? Because right now stores were only getting like 2 at a time. And Dan didn't force the question, he didn't press it. And the guy kind of danced around the question a little bit, but my takeaway from his response, the Mattel guy, was essentially it's Mattel, or not, it's essentially Target who is deliberately only getting 2 at a time of these cases. Now and according to the Mattel guy, in regards to the Masters of the Universe 2-pack, he said that Target would keep ordering it, as in getting more, as long as they continued to see demand for it, but that they, for whatever reason, refused to essentially order more than 2 at a time. So, and that goes back to those tactics that I've talked about, especially last Sunday with the scarcity marketing and everything. I think it's just a deliberate move on the retailer's part to keep the numbers limited, so that people keep running back to the store to try and find it. But I thought it was interesting because that, even though he didn't come out and say, the Mattel guy didn't come out and specifically blame Target and say, oh yeah, they're deliberately keeping it down to 2 because they don't want to have a lot on shelves or whatever. That's the closest I've seen somebody at one of these companies come out and kind of, from where I stood, they were essentially, they were like, it's Target that's doing it. He didn't want to come out and say it, but that's the indication that he was making from that video. So if you haven't seen that video that he did, you should go check it out, especially if you're into Masters of the Universe, because they did reveal new Origins product, which again we're going to talk about here, but I would definitely recommend you check that out. Let's see. I thought there were 3 in a case for killed. Maybe there's 3, I don't know, but whether it's 2 or 3, there's not enough to really substantiate much demand. I've yet to see it on shelves. I think my store in this area has only gotten it once, and it sold out pretty quickly. But 2 or 3 per store, and that's just not a lot. See, Hasbro's probably doing 10-year anniversary Rami line. If they are, I haven't heard anything. I don't think it would be this year, but we'll still have, we still get the back and forth of whether, like, the other 2 Spider-Men are going to actually appear in the next Spider-Man movie. Let's see. Michael says the Masterverse figures I want are He-Man, Battle Cat, and Teela, Man-at-Arms, Beastman, and Spikor. So almost all of them, huh? Now let's yeah, I was pretty excited for what I saw with the Masterverse line this year. So let's jump over. So, and to me these very much have a feel of the 2000X series. That's what these strike me as when I look at it. So He-Man does have like kind of the happy face. So I don't know. I'm sure we'll get more than one He-Man in the line. So, and my guess is the heads will be, you'll be able to switch them out. So Skeletor's got a grin too, but he's got more of that evil grin. And I don't know what this is. I don't remember ever seeing that in Masters of the Universe, so it might be something specific to the Revelation show. Um, or it's just something that I'm just not a diehard enough fan of Masters of the Universe to recognize it. But let's see. Eric says someone in Fushcraft Fushcast suggested Playmates make an origin style update line for their vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, they've been doing that with the box sets, and there's 2-packs. If you caught my news video the other day, um, there's looks like there's some 2-packs coming that are supposed to be based on the 80s cartoon. So I don't know if that's what you mean by. I always think of the cartoon, but I guess the toys themselves originally were different. So I mean, Super Seven's doing their Ultimates figures essentially based on the toys. But for me, I feel like Playmates that's pretty much all they've been doing with those box sets is just kind of reissuing and cashing in on that whole retro. Kyle, the 2000 series was what he grew up with. Well, it wasn't on that long, so but yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, the 2000X action figures were the first He-Man toys or figures that I collected or had. I didn't collect the original toy line as a kid, so the 2000 I watched the original cartoon all the time, but I didn't collect the toys. So 2000X was kind of my introduction to Masters of the Universe action figures, and I still have all of those. They're packed away, but I have most. I think I had everything from the 2000X line, at least action figure wise. I didn't get like all the vehicles and stuff, but and then after the action figures, then the Four Horsemen started doing statues, and I got some of those as well. The shaping staff was used by Evelyn in the Filmation episode, but I guess Skeletor would use it too. Is that what that is? The shaping staff? I don't remember it looking like that, but maybe. I remember the shaping staff from. I mean, like I remember that name, but I don't remember it looking that way. Well, of course, Michael, you gotta have He-Man riding Battle Cat when you display him. That's how I display, my Origins He-Man and my Classics He-Man. Always on Battle Cat, and Skeletor I usually have on Panther, so I'm sure we'll get a Masterverse Panther at some point. So, go through some more of these. I don't know about these soft goods capes. I mean, I don't know. I've seen mixed reactions. It just looks a little too. I don't know. I think plastic probably would have been better, though I understand that would have limited some of the movement. So, Evelyn, I like Evelyn. She looks pretty good. And she's got like the glow around her eyes. So that's pretty cool. And she's got her signature staff, which I like that. And she's got the long version and the short version. And she comes with that alternate head, which we never saw her without her headpiece on in the original cartoon. I don't think it was till the 2000X series that we saw like her have the white hair. Maybe we did see her in the original series once without her headpiece or something. It was short. I get confused, but I don't remember. But definitely in the 2000X we saw her without her headpiece. And then Skelly God, which is a pretty cool design. Kind of seems like it was roughly based on the DC Comics storyline. Now his cape looks pretty good. It's layered. it's soft goods, but it's layered. It's got this big shoulder piece. It's got these little, I don't know, I'm assuming those are maybe plastic, these little diamond things down here at the bottom. So that might weigh it down some. So that all looks pretty cool. And then Battle Cat, which looks good, but what I really like is how he looks like Cringer, which I guess somebody said that somebody told me the 2000X version had that feature as well. I don't remember the 2000X one looking like Cringer when you took his armor off, but I had like I think it was a McDonald's Happy Meal toy that they did for Masters of the Universe, where they did like a battle cat that actually looked like it was small enough, so it actually worked pretty well for Cringer. So I remember I used that for a while for my Cringer, but I like that. I mean, 40, it is a hefty price, $40. It's kind of a lot for just a beast, but Mossman, I wonder if we'll get like an alternate flocked version at some point. But he looks pretty good. I think it's cool that he's being voiced in the new cartoon by the guy who did Skeletor in the original cartoon. So I'm glad they found a place for him. So yeah, that's it for the loose images. We can go back and look at package images. Pretty basic packaging, but not too bad. Like here's a look at the back of Battle Cat to give you an idea of what the back. So you'll get the artwork and everything on the back with these and a bio and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Artwork on the sides as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty psyched for these and the cartoon. I mean, we got our first look at the animation in the cartoon this week. So I was so far there's nothing I've seen that makes me think like this is going to be bad. I don't know for sure it's going to be good, but I haven't seen or heard anything that makes me think it's going to be bad. So I'm definitely looking forward. What's up, Blake? Does Mossman come with alternate humanoid feet? CJ Snake Eye. Surprised they didn't make Tila in the first wave, but then there is a lot of drama on Tila right now. I, I, I mean, I've heard some people like claim that the whole show is actually going to be about Tila. I find that hard to believe. I think some people are just blowing things out of proportion. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I mean, it's He-Man, so I have a feeling He-Man's going to still be the primary focus. If they make Tila more badass and actually get in and kick some ass in the show, I'm all for it. If she has more of a role than just kind of sits there like she did in the original cartoon and just kind of waits for He-Man to save the day, I'm all for that as well. So, uh, I have no problem with them propping up some of the female characters in the show. But I don't think it's going to be like the Tila show or what have you, which again, and I don't know where people even got that from, but I've seen that come up more than once. John says the animation design for the series is similar to the Castlevania show. Well, it's done by the same people, so that makes sense. But I felt like it had a strong resemblance again to the 2000X series. I haven't watched really the Castlevania show. I've seen some artwork for it, but I haven't really watched it. So, but it is actually, in fact, this series is being done by the same people who do the Castlevania show. So Kyle says, "Why don't they make GI Joe animated series? Was Renegades that much of a flop?" I I think it's a combination of things. So again, when it comes to GI Joe in general is just I don't think is as popular as diehard GI Joe fans think it is. Um, And then there's also, I think, just this stigma against army based military guns and all of that. So I think that also has a large part to do with it, which is why, it seems like anytime we get anything with G.I. Joe, it ends up being anything but G.I. Joe. I mean, like, the Snake Eyes movie, which I guess the trailer is going to be premiering tonight, or teaser trailer or whatever, during the MTV movie awards. So I don't know if that'll come on while we're streaming, but I'm sure it'll be online as soon as it does. But I mean, from the images they released this week for that movie, I mean, it just does not feel like G.I. Joe. It feels like a ninja movie. And maybe that'll be cool. I don't know. But to me, I want G.I. Joe. If it's going to be a G.I. Joe movie, I want G.I. Joe, not Snake Eyes and the Ninja Force. So I can't say that I'm super excited for the Snake Eyes movie at this point. Let's see. Bean says, I honestly wouldn't care if it was more about Tila. He-Man was more like a guest star in his own show in a lot of the episodes, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be the Tila show, but I think Tila will be much more of a major player in this series than she was in the original series. Um, but I mean, He-Man was usually pretty much the main focus of the original cartoon. Um, and he always would come in and save the day at the end, usually. But, Orko probably got as much airtime as He-Man did in the original cartoon. So if Tila gets as much airtime in the new show as Orko did in the original, I would certainly be fine with that. I do have to laugh. I was reading before the video started, so I was reading this new mini comic that came with the Triclops figure. So I thought it was funny because Prince Adam is in the in it at the beginning, and also it's funny how you can see the power sword when he's Prince Adam in the comic, whereas like in the cartoon the sword always magically disappeared. But I don't know if you've all read this one yet. It's called Sneak Attack. It's with the Wave with Triclops, but Prince Adam turns to He-Man, but by the time he gets to, I mean, he stops the guys from running away, like he acts as a roadblock, but he really didn't do anything. So I thought it was kind of funny that like they just kind of threw him in at the end. Sorry if I'm a little down on energy. It's been a long week. I got my second COVID vaccine shot this week, and that was a little rough that night. Ended up with a high fever. So that was a rough 12 hours. Fine now, but I definitely had some pretty, I won't say drastic. I mean, it was a fever, but it was pretty high fever. I had like the chills and stuff during the night, and like I was under all the blankets and shivering and breaking out in cold sweat. By next morning, it started to back off, and I was, again, by later that day I was fine, but glad to have gotten the vaccine. I mean, you got 2 weeks now, well, less than 2 weeks now, but then I'll be fully vaccinated, and that will be nice. Looking forward to seeing Stinkor in the new show. I always liked Stinkor. I always thought he was a pretty cool character. He was never really featured that heavily in the original series, but I always thought he was a pretty cool character. So let's over to the review station. So we'll get our looks. Sorry, I don't have something newer to review for you guys, but I thought, keeping in today's theme, we would look at the new one of my newer. I have this entire wave, but Triclops was the one I really wanted from this wave. Hordak too, I guess, but to me, Triclops is one of the coolest villains, and he was like one of the originals. So, I feel like now I have my original villain team. So, these were essentially the main villains when the cartoon first started. Like, I think it was that first episode where, like, Skeletor calls all his henchmen in, and then it was the orb of disappearance or whatever, and, like, they were going to make He-Man disappear. But like, each villain got, like, a little introduction in that episode, so I always thought that was cool. So he's got his feature where you can turn the top of his head here. You can kind of pivot, so... and it actually pops off, so you can pop it off. And then you can pop the whole head off, of course, so you can interchange the pieces. I never really do that, but it is one of the features. So he's got the red single, unibrow. Then he's got the blue eyes with the double eyebrows. And he's got the second red eye with an eyebrow on the top and the bottom. I don't know if those are really supposed to be eyebrows or just like, just to give the eyes a little bit of, differentiate the eyes a little bit. But overall, it looks good, and I like the expression they've given him. That looks pretty good. Would have been cool, and I mean, for this line, I understand why they didn't do it, but it would have been cool if we'd gotten some, like, blast effects or something that he could shoot out of his eye. And of course, he comes with this sword. You can put the sword on the back there. I mean, it's the same body types for all these figures, so if you have any of them, you know what kind of body it is, which is, in keeping with the original action figure line. But definitely, Triclops was always one of my favorites. Or, not Oops. There goes the camera, folks. But, Triclops was one of my favorites in Trapjaw. These were probably my two favorite characters in the original cartoon when I was a kid. And I always felt like Triclops didn't get as much airtime as he should have. I think Trapjaw got pretty good airtime. The Trapjaw was always kind of portrayed as the dummy. Beastman probably got the most. Beastman and Evil Lyn got the most airtime. Yeah, the Diamond Ray of Disappearance. I think that was the first episode, right? Sorry, Triclops is stealing the show here. Or Trapjaw, I should say. So I've seen these, got this wave with Triclops twice at my local Target. Of course, and I would have gotten them online, but I think I think Triclops was still available at, like, Big Bad Toy Store, but, like, Hordak was sold out. Maybe Triclops was too. But I ended up having to get this wave from, like, a big box retailer because I missed out on the pre-orders and they had sold out most of the wave, at least. I wasn't going to get Ninjor, but I ended up getting him anyway. I don't have him here, and I got Stratos, not because I really like Stratos that much, but I just felt like as one of the original characters I needed to get him. Jerry, did Triclops come with his Red Wing bot? If you're talking about the Origins one here, no, he did not. Hey, Dean, what's up? Yeah, the whip. Beastman's got that whip that looks kind of like a blowhorn. I don't know. Beastman was never one of my favorite characters. I don't know why. Merman just had the voice, that I guess the guy you know, had water in his mouth every time he talked, so he would like gurgle. I can't do it unless I have water in my mouth, but he was always kind of funny to me. He always get like thrown into the mud by He-Man. So yeah, there you go. I mean, like I said, it's the figure itself is pretty basic, but that's how the entire line is, and they're only, if you get them on the, not having to pay secondary market prices, they're, you know, 13, 14 bucks, so they're not badly priced. The Masterverse stuff is going to start to get a little pricey because those figures, the regular figures are going to be $25 each, and then the deluxe figures $30, and then like the Battle Cat's going to be $40. So I hate to see what like if they do larger vehicles for the line, how much those will end up costing. Oh, hey Dan, who's reviews in the house? Dan, I don't know. Do you know much about He-Man? I saw you on social media getting into Thundercats. I feel like Dan might be a little young to really be into He-Man. Maybe the 2000X series. Michael, when will we get a trailer for Kevin Smith's series? I don't know. I would expect soon. At the absolute latest, I'm sure they'll have something at PowerCon, but I would guess fairly soon. Since the show's going to be airing, this summer. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to reveal all the figures or the first wave of figures and everything and all the artwork this week. So, and it was kind of weird that they didn't give us like at least a teaser trailer with everything else that they showed, but maybe they don't have it quite ready or something. I don't know. Now, one thing it does suck about the Masterverse line is, of course, it's going to only be at Walmart at first here in the US at least. So we're going to have to wait. I probably will just wait until like August when Big Bad Toy Store and places like that are able to carry it instead of trying to hunt them down. I mean, if I can go, if it ends up by some miraculous chance I go into Walmart and they're there, then I might get one or two, but I still probably would wait primarily for, again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, if you can, we should probably try and support the small guys. But I'm not really worried about it either way because my guess is at least my Walmart will be lucky if I ever see them. Quinn's Comics. What figure would I most like to see in the Masterverse line? Manny Faces has always been another one of my favorite characters, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Masterverse Manny Faces. If you hear that humming, I apologize. There's a refrigerator nearby, and it occasionally makes that humming sound for a minute. But so I don't know if that's being picked up by the mic, but probably so. That's what that noise is. But it'll stop in a second. But yeah, so Manny Faces is probably the character that I would most like to see in the Masterverse line. I wouldn't mind seeing Hordak. I like Hordak. So, and I'm sure we'll see those. And I assume you mean Revelation, not just Masterverse, because another thing that was I pretty much knew was the case, but they pretty much confirmed, Mattel did in that Pixel Dan interview I talked about before, that Masterverse is not just going to be limited to Revelation figures. So that's what they're starting off with. But then like next year, I think we can, as He-Man hits his 40th anniversary, we're going to start seeing other versions of the characters make its way into the Masterverse line. So whether it's cartoon, original toys, or comics, whatever, I don't know, but I do suspect that we're going to see character designs outside of the Masterverse line, or outside of the Revelation line in the Masterverse after this year. Quinn's Comics says Merman and Roboto for him. Yeah, yeah, I could probably go for either one of those. I mean, we saw Roboto in some of the artwork. He was wearing a poncho, but he was in that image where they were like standing in a group. So I'm sure he'll a figure of him will come. Same with Merman. So those are probably definitely givens. Yeah, yeah, Sea Spray, yeah, from Transformers. That was the same thing. I think Merman came first, if I remember correctly, but yeah, they both had that same kind of gurgly underwater voice. Oh, and what was that guy's name? Nurgle or something like that. He was also in the Transformer cartoon. Lord Vengar says, "What's up with the story with the my new avatar?" So that's like I have that picture upstairs in the house. So it's actually it looks I don't think you've really seen him much. He doesn't come on camera much, but I have three cats in the house. So Salome is the one that you guys always usually see, and then I have two male cats, Finn and Garrett, though we call Garrett Big G, and he's kind of a gray tiger stripe type cat. So he looks very much like the cat that's in that picture with Captain America. So as you probably know, Captain America is my favorite character, and I also love cats and animals and stuff. So I just thought it was kind of a cool image. So I decided to kind of hijack that for myself, since cats and Captain America and action figures and stuff are kind of my thing. So, but I have that actual picture. I don't know where it came from, but I have that picture. It's actually up in our guest bedroom. Chris Barcode. I follow Kevin Smith and his YouTube channel. I listen to his podcast, and he's actually not allowed yet to release the date of the first trailer or teaser. It's not really announced or known yet, but soon. I mean, it's got to be soon because the cartoon's what, month, 2 months away, so it's got to be fairly soon. Yeah, they always have some type of marketing strategy with all that planned, so I'm sure they've got a date picked for some particular reason, but I don't know. It might be, I mean the action figures are going to start hitting in June. I think they could start hitting as early as like the 1st of June, but I guess the official date that they've given is June 15th. But, they might be waiting until the action figures actually start to hit shelves and have the trailer come out about that time. So that would probably be my guess, is like early June is when we would see the trailer. And of course, like I said, they're going to be at Walmart first here in the United States, and then everywhere we'll be able to carry them starting August 1st. So, Alan, yes, I have one dog. I used to have two dogs, but we lost one to cancer literally the week before the whole COVID stuff started in last year. Um, we lost Molly, which was our smaller dog, to cancer. So that's how we kind of kicked the year off last year, was my dog dying, and then COVID. Jay's cat is now Kitty America. Captain Cat Martin. Target employees are stupid. My friend goes to his Target and was here first. 4 people. Like, was here first. Him and 4 people. The Target employee picks the box. Like 6 major bloods to the sky. Leo, my friend. Yeah. Totally not quite getting that question. No, I'm getting the impression you're saying that the Target employee didn't let you or your friend get it or something. I've never had that problem with Target employees. I mean, I'm sure there's some a-holes out there, but usually if the if the item's there, they will go get it, and they're usually pretty helpful. So I don't have usually ill will towards Target employees. And in fact, like I feel bad. Like I feel bad when I go in and I'm like, hey, can you check this DPCI number? And then, hey, can you go into the back and try and find it and pull this one case of action figures? Can you find it for me and bring it out so I can get one? And and like I said, usually they do, which is great, but I always feel bad like making them have to do that or asking them that. They don't have to, but I ask them to have to, to do that. I always feel bad. Catnip America. That's a good one, Blake. Martin, they need to stop the Target employees because G.I. Joe classified Target employees buy them. Well, I mean, they're not supposed to. I'm sure some have found ways around it, but I believe they actually are not allowed to buy products like that for like a certain period of time. So, but I mean, if we wanted, if we're talking about, and I'm sure again, I'm sure there are probably some out there that do that, but I mean, they don't have to buy it themselves. They can just have a friend come hold it for a friend, and then the friend comes buys it, and then they sell it together, or what have you. I mean, there's definitely there. That's why even like the thing about like, well, Target should limit it one per customer. Well, yeah, that sounds great in theory, but it's not terribly practical. A mass national retail chain expecting them to really police and monitor, make sure that only one person buys a figure at a time. It just doesn't really ever work. Big Dig Rock, Captain Dogmeat. Uh, my dog is, I don't know if you've seen him, but he's 3 times the size of my cats. But the cats usually, I mean, my dog whose name is Logan will try and play with the cat sometimes, but like the cat, like Garrett will like yell at anytime he walks in the room, he'll yell at Logan, trying to get him in trouble. Because it used to be like we'd hear the cat yell and we thought like the dog was trying to chase him, and later we discovered he wasn't. He was just essentially trying to get the dog in trouble. So, but the cats, they don't back down from anyone really. I get my friend in White Plains easy. I buy 3 because my friend needs one. See, and I think that, I mean, I I think it's if you like pick up an extra or maybe even 2 for a friend, I think that's fine. The only thing, again, I always kind of feel bad because I'm like, well, yeah, I'm picking it up for another collector, but at the same time, I'm picking it up, and that means that a collector that lives here in this area is not going to get that one. So, when a figure like this, like the blood comes out, and like the first wave of Cobra Island figures, I got lucky and I went into the Target and I got the employee to look them up, and they were still in the back, and they went and they got them, and I had I could have like taken all 6 of the Cobra Soldier figures from that first wave, but I only took one. And it's because, I wanted to make sure that hopefully other collectors got access to it. And even though it was an army builder, and eventually I did get a second one, but even though it was an army builder, I left, I didn't want to be greedy because I wanted to make sure that everyone else who wanted one, hopefully not scalpers, but other collectors were able to get one. So um, but I don't have a huge problem if somebody did buy a couple extra even right off the bat, if they're as long as they're helping out friends and stuff, and not like I do think like I saw one guy on a Facebook group and he posted pictures of 3. So first of all, he posted the pictures of 3, and then he was like in the comments section he was like, if you want to know why I got 3, it's because I wanted to. Like, he was getting all defensive about the 3, and I'm like, well, why did you post the picture of having 3 to begin with if you're going to get all defensive about it? I mean, if you're going to post pictures on social media of that you grabbed up a bunch of different figures, you got to know that people are, even if you're like getting them for other friends, they're still sitting there going, well, I haven't been able to find any of them, even one. And so it's just, I don't know, to me, if you're going to buy multiples, I probably wouldn't be throwing pictures up on social media at this stage. But again, that's just me. Big Dig Rock. I gave up trying to find Walgreens the Crow figure. Stopped at Walgreens today to use the bathroom, and bam, there it was. Sweet. I haven't found the Diamond Select stuff to be terribly hard to get at Walgreens. Now, I've never, well, I don't go into Walgreens a whole lot. There's only one that's remotely close, but I never have much of a reason to go in there. And every time I have gone in there, they've never had much. So, but I do see. Well, I went into a It wasn't my close Walgreens, but I went into a Walgreens fairly recently, and they had like those Tron figures. I think that was the first time I had seen those. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people who might buy one or two for a friend. Now, if you bought all 6, I think that's a little much. I mean, because again, you got to remember, well, even if you bought all 6 for other collectors that live in different areas, you still got, you try and think about the collectors in your area that are also trying to get that figure. So I don't know. It's one of those gray areas where, and of course, like, as I said earlier, a couple folks said that they were, would look out and see if they could grab an extra one for me. They would, which would be awesome. But so I'm not going to be hypocritical and say you should only buy one at a time. But I don't think you should clean out the stock. I would say probably 3 tops when we're dealing with like a store that's only getting 6. Um, if the stores would get more than one case at a time, it wouldn't even be an issue. But they don't, unfortunately. Then, well, usually Walgreens gets different versions than the regular releases, which are what you find at comic book stores. So I used to be like you would get a slimmed down version with less accessories because they wanted to keep the price lower at the bigger retailers. I don't know if that's the case all the time, but but there are some times where there's like a version that goes to Walgreens and then there's a version that goes everywhere else with those select figures. Yeah, as far as posting pictures, to me it's just, even if you're getting them for a friend, I would probably not post pictures of more than one starting off the bat. I mean, down the road, maybe, whatever. But I mean, if you want to post, because basically my feeling is, if you want to post a picture to say, thank God I got lucky, and by the way, it's in this area, it's started to hit this area, I think that's great, sharing with fellow collectors and things like that. But when you start posting like, oh, well, look, I bought 3, 4, 5, 6, then it just start, even like I said, even if your motivation isn't like you're scalping, and I've seen scalpers who basically like to go on these Facebook groups and post pictures of, their stuff that they've scalped, and just to rub it in. I mean, it's like they do it just to be an asshole. But I'm sure there are people that also just post, they're not deliberately trying to be an asshole, but it is a little bit on the insensitive side when you're posting pictures of multiple, because again, you got to consider that there are people out there who haven't been able to find it, may never find it, or what have you. So I don't know. Damien says MODOK is his favorite Marvel Legend for 2021. Very chuffed with Hasbro, hoping to try and add Inside Light at some point, depending on Light. I don't know, maybe I missed part of that, but I got you like MODOK, so that's cool. Yeah, MODOKs, I've been pretty happy. Though I will say with my MODOK, Salome's arrived. If you didn't know what this was. Uh, I came down the other day and MODOK was on the floor, and I was like, because I have him up on the shelf up here. You can't see it, but he's up on the shelf. And, he's he seemed like a pretty stable figure and everything. So it's like, how did he get on the floor? Did maybe one of the cats knock him off or something? And then I tried to put him back up on the shelf, and I noticed that the display base part, the blast effect piece, it kind of leaned a little bit forward, and so he just fell off the shelf. I could tell he had just fallen off the shelf. So I don't know if the plastic was a little bit weak or something, but I turned it and adjusted it, so I don't think it'll be a problem again. But I was a little surprised to have seen him having fallen off the shelf like that. Blade Runner says, look at the dingbats posting pictures of the rooms filled with PS5s waiting to be sold at overblown prices. I don't hang out a lot of Facebook groups for video games, but I'm not surprised. And yeah, and the problem, and I think they do it for two reasons. So one is just to be an ass and to like rub it into people's faces, but I think the other is they're just promoting because they know while there's a lot of people that will get on their case for scalping, there's probably other people that will like contact them via PM and be like, hey man, how much can you sell me one of those PlayStations for, or GI Joe Major Blood figures for? So they're also kind of advertising. I think they do it to do advertising so that people will contact them to buy stuff. So Dan says his MODOK did the same. It's like the base leans one way. Yeah, yeah. And so you got to make sure if like your MODOK's on the edge of a shelf, you got to make sure that he's not leaning. I don't know if it leans or if just like maybe the plastic is a little soft there and the weight. I mean, it's a heavy figure. MODOK's a pretty heavy figure, so it's possible that he just kind of weighed the plastic down a little bit and he just started. He leaned enough over, and he's a little top heavy. So once he starts to lean a little bit, if he's on the edge of a shelf, he's probably going to fall off. So just be wary of that. I mean, and mine fell off onto a concrete floor. He did like split apart because he opens up so you can store stuff. But I mean, he didn't break. I was able to put him back together, no problem. So that was good. That the plastic of the MODOK itself seems to be pretty sturdy because, like I said, it fell off a pretty high shelf onto a concrete floor and it didn't break. So. Michael says Faker's going to be in Masters of the Universe Revelation. I'm sure he will. I mean, since it's a continuation of the original Filmation series, I'm sure all the characters will be there, including, I guess, like She-Ra. I mean, I don't know how they're going to work that with She-Ra and Hordak, since in the original series they were there but not there because they were on Etheria. So I don't know if they'll bring them in like that or what. John says his MODOK fell about an hour ago. Took out some keys on his keyboard. Yeah, again, he's a pretty hefty figure, so you probably don't want him near something that's gonna fall on and break. Sorry, cat hairs everywhere. Salome. Salome is shedding rather badly. So, I guess since I put it in the title, we should talk a little bit about Marvel Legends before we call it a night. So, I'm sorry, Salome hit the key. I don't even know if that. Salome, don't walk on the keyboard. But so first, what did you guys think of Friday's reveal? So, I was definitely, as I told you guys, the Iron Man figure was coming, was going to be revealed this week, but I was not. I was pretty sure the store exclusives were going to get revealed this month, but I didn't have any specific days. So I was kind of surprised that we got two store exclusive reveals on top of the Iron Man on Friday, with the Happy Hogan 2-pack and then the Captain Marvel 2-pack. So, but I saw a lot of people kind of like hating on the Target 2-pack with the Jon Favreau figure. I like it. I mean, the Iron Man figure doesn't do a whole lot for me, but I like the Favreau figure. So I guess, I might say it would have been nice if I could have just bought the Favreau figure and not have to get it in a 2-pack. But sorry, Solomon keeps trying to walk on the keyboard. But and then the Captain Marvel and the Rescue 2-pack was also kind of a nice surprise. I've been wanting that version of Captain Marvel, so I managed to pre-order both of those. I was mad because like the Amazon Captain Marvel set sold out for a little while on that day, and like I hadn't had a chance to get one because I was like covering all the different reveals, and like I didn't have any forewarning. That's one of the things when you're trying to cover this stuff. It's like sometimes it's just there, and you got to try and get it posted as quickly as possible. So I was like, running around trying to cover, and I didn't know if like the Walmart one was going to get revealed on Friday as well. And so I was like waiting to see if that one was, or whatever the third store exclusive. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Walmart, but I was waiting to see if that one was going to get revealed, and it didn't. But so, but I like both of those, and then the Iron Man figure was pretty cool as well. But anyway, so tomorrow, 17th, we're gonna get more reveals, at least one, possibly two if they go on and reveal the third store exclusive one. But that's gonna be tomorrow, so we are in fact getting another official Marvel Legend revealed tomorrow. Out of all of them that we've seen so far, my favorite is probably the Endgame Thor. I think that one probably looks the best, and it's one of the ones I've been waiting for the longest. The Quicksilver I was overall happy with. I still think the face is a little bit off from the actor, but I'm glad we finally got Quicksilver. Odin's not bad. I'm just not as huge of an Odin fan. And then probably the Captain Marvel 2-pack is probably the one I like the best. The Thanos Mark 85 set, I don't see enough there to warrant getting those two figures again, so I probably will hold off on that one. Quinn's Comics. No, I have at some point I don't think we're gonna see any unless something leaks out. I don't think we're going to see anything for G.I. Joe until next month, June. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another Target exclusive with Barbecue. But I don't have a whole lot really new to talk about when it comes to G.I. Joe, other than just that, Major Blood is actually now starting to hit shelves. That was pretty much the only thing I had on G.I. Joe Classified. But June, again, Yo Joe June or whatever they're calling it. So I expect there's going to be a live stream at some point in June for G.I. Joe, and they're going to show off some new stuff. I'm hoping, if I haven't been able to get Major Blood by then, that, maybe they will make some of those Major Bloods available. It's just, in fact, I would say, I feel probably a very good chance they'll at least offer a very at least a limited number of bloods on Hasbro Pulse in June. But, to me, as I've said before, it's only worth it if they actually make enough available so that anyone who wants it can get it. And of course, they're not going to come out and say that early because they don't want to take away from people buying it from Target. If by some remote chance Hasbro has made arrangements to be able to sell blood in decent numbers on Hasbro Pulse, then they're not going to tell us ahead of time because, again, that would take away sale. People would then be like, well, I'm not going to bother hunting at Target. I'll just wait for it to come up on Hasbro Pulse. So I'm sure that may be why they're waiting. If that's why they're waiting until June, remember that tweet they gave us. I could see that possibly being the case, but Michael Holloway, unfortunately, that's not going to happen. There's going to be more, exclusives are here to stay. I'm afraid, and Target, Walmart are the two biggest. They get the most exclusives. So I guess I got us off on Marvel Legends, but we actually going back to He-Man. So we talked about the Revelation, but we also, again going back to that. Oh, speaking of more exclusives, well, not really exclusives, but sorry, I gotta flip you guys. So NECA today announced a bunch of figures that are coming to Target and Walmart first. So like the Homelander figure here, that's going to be coming to Walmart here very soon. Both of them, both of the boys figures that they're doing. A Frankenstein figure is going to Walmart first, and then this replica of the Batarang from the Batman animated series. So those are going to Target, or those are going to Walmart, I should say, and then Target is getting the McCready figure from the Thing movie, the Back to the Future 2 Doc Brown figure, and 2 King Kong figures. So, and again, they're not technically exclusives, but they'll be available first. And this is where, like, I would say willpower should come in. Don't run to Target and Walmart and buy it. Wait and get them at the small guys when they're allowed to put them up for pre-order. I know most people won't. If they can find it at Target and Walmart, that's where they're going to get it. And I understand that, but anyway, all right. So first of all, I don't know where these images originated from, but this is our first look at the toys, the figures from the second Netflix series, Masters of the Universe, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series. So this is going to be a CGI series, and this is going to be more kids oriented. So, but there's two versions of He-Man here, and this is very much in keeping with the 2000X type sword. He's got this weird armor. I don't know what's up with that. Skeletor. And then second version of He-Man. So I do kind of like this emblem that they have on He-Man's chest, where it's like looks like the two swords, but it also forms an H. So I do think that's actually kind of a cool design. This looks like some kind of like snake armor almost. So we know even less about this series really, other than it's CGI, and I think it's going to be geared more towards kids than the Kevin Smith one. But, and again, I don't know where these images came from. I don't know how somebody got their hands on these figures. They showed up on social media, but I don't know where they originated from, and I don't know, more specifically, I don't know where the figures originated from. But again, we got a brief look at like He-Man and Battle Cat from this line a month or so ago, but this is kind of our real first look. Okay, and then this is the interview I talked about with Pixel Dan did with Mattel, but we got some new reveals. So this one's pretty cool. Unfortunately, this is another Target exclusive, but you got the Vac Metal, Battle Chess He-Man and Battle Cat. Battle Cat's got some metallic red paint. and then you get this display base with these little critters. So that's pretty cool. They didn't give us a price on it, so probably going to be $40, maybe even more. Stinkor is making his way into the Origins line, so this is a cool one. And he's going to smell. They said he's going to smell pretty close to the original toy, so he's going to have that same kind of smell. Web store. It was never. I don't know. I think it like appeared like in 2 episodes, and then this is that power con version of Beastman, though it does look a little bit different than the power con version. Lords of Power, whatever they call it. But that's wave 6 of the Origins line. So wave 5 is hitting now with Fistor and Faker. That wave's actually starting to hit shelves now, but this is the next wave after that. Oh, and then the Green Goddess is, is in that wave too. So the green Tila. Oh, and Mosquito. I don't know. I didn't upload them here. I'll pop over here because there's Mosquito. They showed off Mosquito. Mosquitor. Yeah, so they didn't release any promo images, but they had him on. It was a it was a video conference thing, and the guy had it in hand. So the quality's not great, but they're doing Mosquito with 2 different head sculpts. And then what's kind of cool is they've got this blood sucking effect that you can attach to his beak or whatever you call it, and then you can put it on a figure, so it looks like he's sucking blood out of a figure. So that's kind of a cool thing. And he has the same kind of gimmick um, with the pump as well with this version. So Pixel Dan was ecstatic that they were doing, I guess, his favorite character. But yeah, so overall, I mean, Mattel's got a lot of. This is probably the most He-Man stuff I've seen in the last 20 years. I mean, now unfortunately, like whenever I go to the store, I mean, I like I said, I did find that the Hordak wave 2 different times, and I think I just got lucky. But normally when I go into Target and Walmart, the only thing I see on shelves are He-Man and Skeletor and Battle Cat. So and the Sky Sled seems to be sitting on the shelves quite a bit now as well. But the other figures, it'd be nice if they could like stock all the figures as well as they stock the He-Man and the Skeletor. Yeah, Quinn Mosquito does have the blood pumping action. Did he have that? I don't remember. I distinctly remember 2 episodes with him. If he appeared in more than 2, then I think he would like maybe just stood there in the background. But I don't think he had. Well, that's not confirmed, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see new adventures pop up in the if you're talking about the Masterverse line. I just all right, just for fun. Let's let's take a look on eBay. All right, so yeah, I mean it's just crazy. $110. Now, I mean, granted, that's what this guy's trying to sell it for. Doesn't mean he's going to sell it for that much. This guy wants 185, I guess, for two. It's a little. Well, I'm not going to say that's better. It's still ridiculous. This one's $100, so like two people are watching it. $530. Two bloods, two vipers. So four figures. He wants $530. That's that's $80 right there, and he wants $530 for it. I mean, that's just absurd. This guy has sold, according to this guy has sold 13 major bloods for $157. $157. You know, when somebody says, "Oh, well, I pay 10, 15, $20 extra for the figure," I still don't think you should do it because that's still just supporting the scalper. But at least I can understand that, especially if you're like, you could probably end up, well, especially today, these days with how high the gas prices have skyrocketed in the last week. But I mean, your time and energy and gas, I could almost understand paying an extra $20 just to get the figure and not have to worry with the hassle. But when you start talking about these ridiculous prices, it's just there's no justification for this. There's no reason anyone should be paying this much money for this figure. I don't care how bad you want it. Just say no. But not only are you setting a precedent, so now the going price, like the other day I was on here and it tried to tell me that $170 was a good price because I guess it had been selling for even more. So eBay was trying to tell me that was a good price. I'm like, are you kidding me? So when you pay these outrageous prices, you're setting kind of a precedent here. Oh, look at this one. $650 for a case of six. Isn't that generous of him? He's giving you a whole case for $650. Case is six figures, so yeah, I mean, there's not one reasonable price. This is the lowest price, and that's just because it's an open bid, so one person is willing to pay $50 for this figure. And that someone else will probably jump in and cause that to go up even more. This one's 90. I mean, it's just it baffles my mind that people are paying this much money for this figure. And I say that being, this is a figure I personally really want myself as well. But and I could it's not like if I wanted to, I could go spend I could throw $150 and get one, but I can't. It's because there's no way in my head I can sit here and justify that figure being worth $150. It's not about not having the money. It's about it's not worth $150. So I mean, yes, something's only worth as much as someone's willing to pay, but I just feel like people have lost their minds when I see them spending that much money on major blood. It's not worth it. It really isn't. Your life is not going to end if you don't get this figure. um Even if you're rich, there's better things you could spend that money on than that major blood figure. And the other problem is not only are you sending them, you're encouraging the scalpers, you're encouraging people that maybe weren't scalping before because now they're seeing, oh my God, I could make that much money if I sold that figure. Well, I got bills to pay, so if people are willing to pay that much money, I'm going to sell it for that. And part of me is like, I don't blame them. I mean, if you've got people paying $200-300 for one action figure, I'd be tempted to sell it too. I mean, So not only are you encouraging people to scalp when you pay these outrageous prices, you're also sending a message to the toy companies. If you don't think Hasbro's sitting there going, looking and seeing this and saying they're willing to pay how much for these action figures? Hey, Blake, thank you, man. As always, much appreciated. A scallion. Sadly, dude, I still couldn't get. I probably still couldn't get a Major Blood off eBay for $50, but I do appreciate it, man. But anyway, so I mean, not only are you sending a message to the scalpers, you're sending a message to these toy companies because, like I said, I guarantee you, they're sitting there and they're going, "These guys are willing to pay how much for these?" You know, you're just in all ways you're sending the wrong messages to the scalpers, to the toy companies. You know, you can go online, you can complain about exclusives, and you can complain about scalpers, but when you go out and you pay this much money for these figures, and I'm not, hopefully none of you guys here watching this today, you know, are spending this much money on a figure like that. So, but just know that you're sending all kinds of bad messages to not only the scalpers but the toy companies, the retailers themselves. I mean, you know, again, you know, people at Target are probably sitting there seeing that as well. And I'm not saying that as in, oh, they're going to go and scalp it, but I'm saying it's going to encourage them to want to carry more exclusives. They're going to go to Hasbro and say, "Hey, we want more exclusives because we see the frenzy that these figures are causing, and these people will be running into our stores daily trying to get their hands on these figures. If not just to have for themselves so that they can turn around and sell it on eBay." So, you know, like I said, just all I can say is just stop. Quit doing it. Get out of the habit of using eBay. Just, you know, and you might, you know, if everyone did this, if everyone quit the same cycle over and over again, and that's what it is, it's a cycle. We go through the same cycle over and over, and then we all sit around and go, God, I wish they would stop with the exclusives. But then we encourage it. And when I say we, I mean we as a overall, you know, collectors of action figures, you know, we as a whole sending these messages to, you know, keep this cycle going. And, you know, if, and then we're like expecting them to quit, to break the cycle. Those who are profiting from the cycle, we're expecting them to stop it. And, you know, in the real world, that just, it doesn't work that way. But we could stop it. That's what, to me, that's one of the most frustrating things is if we just quit supporting, if we just quit buying from scalpers, if we just quit hunting these to such extremes, running into the targets daily until we find it and stuff. If we just said enough's enough, I think it would come to an end. But it would require pretty much all of us to, you know, get on the same page and as a united front stop it. But and that unfortunately I don't think is ever going to happen. But it's frustrating to see because I just feel like if we all got on the same page, we could actually stop it. All right, we're going on about 9 o'clock, so my voice is getting a little hoarse tonight. But as always, I do appreciate everyone who tuned in tonight and listens to me ramble. That's what I kind of feel like these live streams end up being, is just me rambling. But I do appreciate it. And tomorrow again, we are going to be getting some at least one official Marvel Legend reveal. I actually I don't know exactly which one. There's two regular releases left, so it's going to be one of the two regular releases, and then possibly the third store exclusive. But out of the two regular releases, it's either going to be the Ironmonger or the Suitor, and my guess is it's going to be Suitor, just because I think they're probably going to wait and do the Ironmonger one for last. So again, I haven't confirmed that, but I'm pretty sure probably tomorrow we're going to at least see the Suitor figure from the Thor movie, and then like I said, we could also see the Walmart, well, what I'm pretty sure is going to be a Walmart exclusive, which indications suggest maybe, and I this is just what I've been hearing online, um, so I don't know for sure, is some version of Captain America from Endgame, which wouldn't surprise me. Maybe with the broken shield or what have you, as the Walmart exclusive. But I don't know that for sure. We'll have to wait and see. And again, I don't know for sure if that one will be revealed tomorrow or not. But if not tomorrow, then I believe by the end of the week we will have seen all of the exclusives, or all of the figures in the Infinity line. I think. Let me just check something here. Pull up my calendar here. Yeah, I think tomorrow, and then tomorrow and then Friday, we'll see the last one. So if we get 2 tomorrow, we'll get 1 on Friday. If we get 1 tomorrow, we'll get 2 on Friday, I think. The store exclusive one, again, the Walmart one, I'm pretty sure it's going to be revealed this month, but I don't know what day. So, but the other 2, and again, I'm guessing Ironmonger will be the final one that they reveal, which should be this coming Friday, but which would mean that we get Suitor revealed tomorrow. So that's your Marvel Legends scoop for the day. And then there's still other reveals for Marvel Legends coming this month. So we're going to get some more reveals by the end of the month beyond just the Infinity Saga stuff. So just know that as well. So, but that's it. As always, guys, much appreciated. Stay safe out there. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. But again, do please subscribe if you haven't already. Maybe one day in my lifetime I'll break that 100,000 subscriber mark. Probably not, but you never know. But yeah, stay safe out there, most importantly. And I probably will do a news video tomorrow with whatever new Marvel Legend reveals do get made. And those should come about 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, unless they leak out early. So that's when the official reveal should be made. All right, guys, so stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great!